Today, we go over the top 10 newest strategies that you should be using to level up on Amazon, including one brand new one that maybe only 10 people have ever used so far. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I'm your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that is our Helium 10 Weekly Buzz, where we give you a rundown of all the goings on in the Amazon, TikTok shop, and e-commerce world. We give you training tips of the week, and we let you know what new features Helium 10 has that'll give you serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the e-commerce world. Let's see what's buzzing. And we actually have a special year-end episode. Last week, if you guys remember, we went deep into the buzz as far as the buzz surrounding the new Amazon policy about reimbursements. If you guys didn't check that out yet, make sure to go check it out. h10.me/buzz1219, h10.me/buzz1219. Make sure to check that out, and you'll kind of like get a most comprehensive breakdown of all that Amazon announced. Now, because of that, we actually didn't even have time to do new feature alerts or a training tip of the week. And this week, I'm actually recording this a little bit early, and there's not much going on in the news right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a special episode. I usually do this like twice a year, where I'm going to give you the top 10 new features of the half of the year. So I did one of these episodes in July for the first half, and then now this is the top 10 new features that Helium 10 has released in the last 6 months, from like August to December. Since last December, Helium 10 has launched over 90 new tools and features. 90, guys. Most tools in their entire existence out there don't even have 90 features. We just released 90 in the last year. In the second half of the year, I had to whittle down, half of that to like what I thought was the top 10, including one super cool one that sellers have been asking for that nobody even knows is out there other than a few elite members. Now, here's the thing, guys. If you don't use Helium 10, don't tune out. Every single strategy I'm giving here is an actual Amazon strategy. And I'm going to explain how you can do it, why it's important. It doesn't matter if you're not using Helium 10. If you're using another tool, I hope you're able to use this, or you might have to do some kind of manual thing, but I'm going to talk about the strategy behind it. This is not just going to be some Helium 10 love fest here, but the way I pick this is, the top 10 things that I think, you should be using here in 2025. So it starts out a little bit slow, and then we're going to get to like some super cool stuff towards the end. So make sure to stay to the end. All right, let's get cooking. Let's see what's buzzing with top 10 new Helium 10 features for the second half of 2024. Number 10 is a PPC strategy. Let me first talk about the strategy. It has nothing to do with Helium 10. When you guys are running your PPC campaigns, all right, you guys have an auto campaign, let's say a broad campaign or a phrase campaign, or Amazon's, discovering new search terms, new ASINs, right? Well, you might have a rule in whatever PPC software, be it Adtomic or whether you're just using spreadsheets that you're downloading from Amazon, and you might have a rule that says, hey, if I get like 25, 30, 40 clicks, whatever floats your boat, with 0 sales, then I want to negative match that. And a negative match in one of those auto, broad phrase, etc. campaigns basically means that, hey, in that campaign, you do not want Amazon to show you for that random keyword. When I say random, it means you weren't specifically targeting that keyword. Like if it's an auto campaign, you're not targeting any keywords, right? But Amazon decides to show it and decides to allow you to get clicks, right? Well, if you're getting tons of clicks with no sales, you want to stop the bleed, right? You're otherwise just throwing money away if you don't think that you're going to ever convert for that keyword. An example might be, I have a coffin shelf, and maybe Amazon is showing me for the keyword full-size coffin for pets or something like that, right? It has nothing to do with my product, but people see it in the search results. They click on it thinking that maybe it is, but then they see my product, like, this is not what I was searching for. Now they go click something else. I'm like, I got charged for that click. And Amazon's going to keep charging me if people keep clicking on it, right? So you want to stop Amazon from showing you for that search term or that ASIN, right? Now, here's the thing. If you have a manual campaign, like what I call a performance campaign, an exact campaign, or a product targeting, like an ASIN targeting campaign, and you get 25, 30 clicks, What some people do is they also negative match that. Now, me personally, I do not like to negative match those kind of things because I like to cap the number of active targets I have in a campaign. Like if I'm doing an exact campaign or a product targeting campaign, I might cap it at 10 targets because, once you get past that, unless you have like huge budgets, Amazon might not be giving love to all those, like 30, 40 keywords equally, right? So then after I hit 10, I'm like, all right, let me go ahead and start, another campaign, right? But what happens is if in those kind of campaigns, you start negative matching, right? The target is still going to show active. You just negative match the search term or the ASIN. And so if you're like doing some kind of audit and you're like, all right, which of my campaigns did I already hit 10 targets? You could very well be stopping campaigns early because when you look at the campaign, it'll say you have 10 active targets, but actually maybe 5 of them you had done a negative match. So they're not really active. And so anyways, that brings us to this strategy. What I always suggest doing is instead of negative matching something that's poor performing for a target, just pause the target. All right. So that's the strategy. Now, strategy number 10, as we're counting down here, number 10 is that in Helium 10 Adtomic, you can actually automate this process. So in your rules, and this is brand new, this came in August of this year, I have this whole rule set where I'm like, hey, if my ACoS is greater than 10 but less than 15, increase my bid to try and get it closer to 17% ACoS, and I may have tons and tons of rules. But now my last rule is, hey, if in a target my clicks is greater than 25, PPC orders is 0, pause targeting. So in other words, it's like, hey, don't negative match it. I want to be able to see that it's enabled or paused so I know when I can hit my threshold of how many targets. So that's kind of like a low-key update, but I think it's important just generally speaking when we're talking about strategy. All right, new feature alert number 9 of the second half of 2024 is something that should be on everybody's radar, which is TikTok Shop. All right, so this again has, what I'm saying right now has nothing to do with Helium 10, but guys, if you're selling on Amazon, if you're selling on Walmart, you should be selling on TikTok Shop in the USA. All right, if you have an employee who is based here in the United States with a social security number, it's just a no-brainer, guys. People are making money hand over fist. Now, if you just want to get a kind of a rough idea about, hey, what kind of profitability do I have on TikTok Shop based on my products, dimensions and weight, and then based on what kind of fulfillment I might do on TikTok, watch this. This is new feature alert number 9. Go to your listing on Amazon and hit the Helium 10 profitability calculator. The profitability calculator is nothing new. You guys have been using this for Amazon for years. There is now a TikTok Shop tab here in profitability calculator where it imports all of the data from your listing, but then allows you to choose like things like affiliate commission rate. What's the referral fee on TikTok Shop? Are you going to use fulfilled by TikTok? Are you going to use Amazon MCF? Are you going to just self ship this product? Here's the storage fees, and you're going to be able to see based on the TikTok Shop fees, which is actually a lot less than Amazon, what your profitability would be if you were to take your Amazon product and list it on TikTok Shop. So again, the general strategy is, guys, expand to TikTok Shop if you haven't done so already. And then how Helium 10 can help this with strategy number 9 here of the second half is, hey, use our profitability calculator to see what your profitability might be if you migrate your product over to Amazon. All right, new feature number 8. This one is a way that you can get some extra money. Maybe you can help your kids get started making some money online. Maybe you're brand new, you're not selling on Amazon yet, and you're like, hey, I don't have enough money yet to invest in a private label brand. I just need to build up some capital. You can become an Amazon influencer. Okay. Amazon influencers make video reviews for products. And then how it works is if your video gets on the top carousel or the bottom carousel of a listing and somebody watches that video, it's the last video they watch on that page before they buy the product. Guess what? You get Amazon affiliate commission for that sale. Now, imagine if you are the only video on a listing, right? Or one of only 2 videos, and it's a listing that gets thousands and thousands of sales, you could be getting some pretty decent money based on the fact that your video is almost always potentially going to be seen by the biggest number of customers. So what has Helium 10 provided? We now have in our Chrome extension, an influencer tool. So let's say you run X-ray on the search results. Like I'm here on a collagen peptide search results. At the very top of the Chrome extension or X-ray, and by the way, guys, everybody has access to this. Anybody who has got Helium 10, you'll see a button that says you can switch from the standard mode to influencer mode. And in influencer mode, you're going to see a lot of the same things like the estimated sales, but now you're going to see the potential score of if there's opportunity for you to make money on a certain product, right? Like for example, here on this collagen peptides, it has 0 videos in the upper carousel. So what does that mean? That means if I submit a video for this, I might be the only one. But this other vital proteins, oh my goodness gracious, there's 5 videos in the upper carousel, including 2 from the brand. There's a total of 14 influencer videos in the whole entire listing. 9 of them are in the lower carousel and 2 from the brand. There's another collagen peptide. Somehow the brand has 7 videos on the page. So obviously those would be a little bit less of an opportunity, but this is just the first one of our influencer tools. But again, guys, this is, maybe not for everybody, but you've got family members who want to break into Amazon. You can just start going around your house and looking at all the things you've bought from Amazon. And then, take a look using this extension, like, hey, is there opportunity to make some money if you just record like a 30-second video with your camera phone on it, upload it? You literally could get the, quote unquote passive income once you upload that video. So Amazon Influencer Chrome extension is number 8. Tool number 7 that we have. Now, this is actually, I just kind of like consolidated it into one new feature alert, but this was like 3, 4, 5 new feature alerts in one. It's our newly released keyword tracker. All right. So keyword tracker got a refresh this year. We brought in a lot of features that were already existing in our market tracker 360 tool. People were like, hey, I want to see some of these things like heat maps and keyword harvesting and things like that in the regular keyword tracker. So it's not just in market tracker. And so again, how is this important whether you have Helium 10 or not? Is you want to be tracking keywords. Where are your competitors ranking? Where are you ranking? What effects does PPC have on keyword ranks, especially your sponsored ranks for different keywords? How does different days of the year, like Prime Day or Black Friday, what kind of effects does it have on your ranking? How can you see in different graphical ways, like using heat maps, how your ranking is increasing or decreasing? Well, all of these things and more are now in the new keyword tracker. So anybody who goes into keyword tracker, this was relaunched about 3-4 months ago. You can see things like heat maps. So it's just a different way to kind of visualize how your rankings are changing over time. And then another thing that we have that's kind of unique is if there's ever a holiday, like here, this was Thanksgiving, you'll see a little gift symbol on that day. So you can kind of like just take a look like, hey, did your rank go up or down on that day? If you're using Helium 10 Adtomic and you have your Amazon, advertising token connected to Helium 10, you're going to start having data about, hey, which keywords are you ranking for in sponsored ads? How many different campaigns are you targeting certain keywords? Like here is a coffin letter board. In the last 14 days, I've sold only 1 unit, and I've got that in a broad match campaign going on right now. All right. So you can actually see how your ads are affecting your keyword ranks. Another super cool thing that is super unique is the suggested keywords. So if I put competitors in my keyword tracker, I can say, hey, basically I'm going to run Cerebro, and I'm going to say, hey, show me keywords that have at least 300 search volume where maybe my rank is between 0 and 0, meaning I'm not ranking at all. But all of a sudden, one of my competitors starts getting sales from it. They're ranked on that keyword from 1 to 10. So in other words, a keyword my competitor is getting sales from that maybe I didn't even know was relevant. I don't even have it in my listing. How would you have found that normally? Of course you have always been able to do that. You can just run Cerebro like every day or once a week on your product versus your competitor's products. This is going to do it auto magically for you. All right. No, there's no other tool that can do stuff like this. So this is super, super valuable, guys. Saves you tons of time, actually puts money in your pockets, so that you can start getting sales for these keywords that your competitors are getting sales from. So like I said, I'm just counting this as one new feature update that we did this year, but there's actually 5, 6, 7, 10, or even more new updates that Keyword Tracker never has had before that is working here. So that's number 6. Number 5 is the launch of our managed refund services inside of Helium 10. So this is a tool that is similar to Refund Genie that Helium 10 has had, but instead of you having to go and request money back from Amazon, and also instead of just doing loss and damage, the Helium 10 MRS, we're going out and filing the claims for you. And we're also going out and looking at other ways that Amazon owes you money, like not just lost and damaged shipments, but also like inbound shipments that Amazon loses or damages or things like that. So we take a very small percentage compared to others out there. And now this used to be a tool that was only available to Supercharge. Now it's available at no extra charge to Diamond. In other words, you don't have to pay for it. You don't have to, commit. The only way that you pay us is if we get money back for you, we get like a small percentage of that. I think it's like 15% or less. But again, only if we get money back from you. So again, if you've got a Diamond account, just hit Manage Refund Services inside of Helium 10. Make sure to register and get that free money back that Amazon is owing you. Strategy 5 of the top 10 new strategies of the second half of 2024 is actually something for our European sellers. All right. So let's talk about the difference between search volume and keyword sales. Why do Amazon sellers want to know search volume? Well, if all things are equal, let's say on a list of 10 keywords, right? They're all equally relevant, let's just say, to your product. Maybe you want to get the best keyword into your title, for example, or build your listing around a set of 2 or 3 keywords. Well, how do you choose what are the top 2 or 3 best keywords in a list of 10 that are all equal, right? They're all equally relevant. Well, you probably would do it by search volume. Why would you do that? Well, you would assume that, hey, the more a keyword is searched, the more possibility for you to get a sale, right? If a keyword that is equally relevant, 2 keywords are equally relevant, one keyword has 10,000 searches a month, one keyword has 100 searches a month, well, you would assume that, hey, that 10,000 one has a much higher chance at bringing me some sales if it's super relevant to my keyword, as opposed to one that was equally relevant but only has 100 searches. So really what you're looking for is, hey, I want to see the keywords that bring the most sales. Now, historically, most tools, including Helium 10 for a long while, could only show you search volume. Then Helium 10 for Amazon USA came out with keyword sales. So you have that. Well, our European sellers are like, hey guys, that's not fair. How come Amazon USA sellers get the keyword sales, but not us here in Europe? Well, guys, now you probably notice if you're selling in Spain, UK, Germany, Italy, France, etc., and you're running Cerebro, like here, I just ran Cerebro on this product that is from Amazon Spain. It says Caja Sorpresa Cumpleaños. That's birthday surprise box or something. Well, take a look here. Here are some keywords that I found. I just sorted it by search volume. And take a look. A lot of times the keyword sales does correspond to the search volume. Like you see, here's a 15,000 search volume. It had estimated 64 sales. This keyword was 7,000 search volume, had an estimated 30 sales, right? But then take a look as you go down. For example, take a look. Here's a keyword, Caja Sorpresa Amazon, 4,000 searches, but Helium 10 estimates 9 keyword sales. Now, here is a keyword that had half as many searches, 2,000 searches, but had double the amount of sales as the one that had double the amount of search volume. All right. So which keyword is more valuable? Well, if you're only using a tool that is looking only at search volume, you probably would have picked this 4,000 search volume, this Caja Sorpresa Amazon. But me, since I'm using Helium 10 here, I'm actually going to use, if these were equally relevant, this other keyword here, Paquetes Sorpresa Amazon Devoluciones. I don't know what the heck is devolución. I don't even know what devolución means. I'm not saying this is a good keyword, but basically, if those were equally relevant, right, I'm of course going for the keyword that can bring me 18 sales instead of 9, even though the search volume is less. So really nice update that our European sellers have been asking for a while is the keyword sales. And if you guys are in the USA and haven't been using that keyword sales estimate, make sure to use it there in Cerebro and Magnet. All right, the number 4 new feature alert of the year, or of the second half of 2024, is the fact that Adtomic is back in Diamond. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that if you want to have success on Amazon, you've got to be advertising. And time is money. And if you only have one product, you got a daily budget, $5 a day or something, yeah, you can probably handle your own advertising. But once you start scaling, you need to automate some of your processes. Now, when I say automate, that means to run queries and algorithms and things like that. I personally don't automate any of my PPC as far as just running it through the system and just set some rules and just set it and forget it. Some people do. There's nothing wrong with it, but just clarify what I'm talking about here. But for example, I have over 200 campaigns, right? I only spend 5 minutes a week to 10 minutes a week managing it. If I was downloading search term reports every day, that would take me hours, right? So the reason I'm able to do it is Adtomic. Now, historically, Adtomic has been an add-on to Helium 10. You've got the Diamond plan that you're paying like $250 a month. Then you pay another $199 and you get Adtomic. Well, this year, our number 4 new feature is Adtomic is now part of the Diamond plan. All right. So if you've got a Diamond account, you get to use Adtomic for free. And then you only have to pay if your spend goes over, I forgot, like $3,000 or $5,000 or something like that a month to like your PPC spend. And then there's a percentage charge of that. But for most people, especially for newer sellers, 100% free if you don't hit that threshold of PPC spend. And so guys, again, if you've got the Diamond plan, get into Adtomic now. You've got access, just connect it and then start setting up those rules. Let's say you're brand new to Amazon, you don't want to do anything, or let's say you've been just struggling. You've been on Amazon for a while and you're just like, I just want to start over. Well, you know what? Go ahead and use our AI advertising. We've got this tool, AI advertising, that'll just do everything on autopilot for you using advanced AI algorithms. And then we'll just let you know what the results are. You tell us, hey, what's your goal? What ACOS are you trying to reach? Or what's your goal you're trying to reach? And we'll go ahead and just run everything with AI and it's completely hands off for you. So regardless of if you're like a control freak like me and want to make all your own custom rules and automations and algorithms and stuff like that, or if you're just like, hey, I just want to be hands off, get an Adtomic, guys. It's available in the Diamond plan for no extra charge for access to the software. All right, we're down to the top 3 coolest new features from Helium 10, and this one is a doozy. This next one, probably something that people were asking about for a while. If you're doing competitor research, either your direct competitors, or you're maybe exploring product opportunity, you want to have sales estimates, right? And Helium 10, I've done a lot of blogs this year that show Helium 10 has by far the most accurate sales estimates, even more accurate than the numbers that you see from Amazon out there, because the numbers that Amazon has is very limited. Now, Helium 10 just took a step forward to even widen the gap about how much more accurate we are than other tools, like be it Jungle Scout, Data Dive, or whatever other tools are out there. Take a look here, guys. If you are on the search result page or a product page that actually has variation listings, okay, Helium 10 historically, how would it estimate if the sales? Well, it would give it to you just like any other tool does at the parent level, because that's what BSR is based on. That's how Helium 10 estimates sales. But now, if there are listings that have child items like this collagen peptides right here, you're going to see the parent level sales. Like, look at this. All of the collagen peptides in this variation family have 240,000 units of sales per month. This exact ASIN has got 53,000 units of sales a month. But now I expand out to see all these other variations of vital proteins. We got different pack sizes and different color packages and everything. And I can see down to each child item exactly how much each one estimate. I said exactly, but I mean like exactly as in it's doing it one by one, an estimate on the sales units per month that is highly accurate. So guys, this is just something that is so helpful when you're trying to figure out, hey, which variation is selling the most? Like if you're going to get into a new niche and you don't want to have to buy all 20 different variations all at the same time, well, what are you going to do? You want to see which are the top 4 or 5 best sellers, maybe what colors or what sizes, and maybe invest in that one, right? Well, now you have some clear visibility instead of having to do some workaround like we always used to have, like using Review Insights, where now you are going to be able to see which child item is selling the most. All right, we're down to the 2 coolest new features that will blow your mind. One of them is a new feature in Cerebro. Let's say you're looking at your own product and you notice from one month to another month, your sales went up or down. Let's say you're looking at the BSR chart of one of your competitors and you saw that in February of 2023, they had a really low month of sales, but in March of 2023, their sales like doubled. Well, what's the question you might have about your product or your competitor's product? Well, can I attribute the increase in sales or decrease in sales to an increase or decrease in keyword rank so that I can kind of deduce that, hey, I got more sales because all of a sudden I'm on the top of page 1 on this keyword. Hey, my competitor dropped in sales because they dropped off of the top of page 1. Well, you've kind of been able to do that using the historical Cerebro feature, but now we made it even more easy. Now you can take 2 months. I'm just going to assume something here. I'm going to go right here to monthly comparison. And what I'm going to do, this is one of my coffin shelves. Let's just pretend that in, I don't know, let's say between July and August, my sales went up. All right. I doubt that was the case, but let's just pretend, right? So I hit apply, and now I'm going to say, hey, any keyword over 200 search volume, show me where in month 1 I was ranked between, let's say, 15 and 306, meaning I probably wasn't getting too many, if any, sales for this keyword. But then in month 2, in August of that year, I was 1 and 14, between 1 and 14, like in other words, at the very top of the page. Now, I'm not sure if anything's going to come up here. Let's take a look. Oh my goodness, there's 8 keywords that came up here. So take a look here. All right. Let's just say my sales went up. Look at this. Look at this, guys. Horror bathroom decor. In July of 2023, I was ranked 38. In the very next month, I was ranked 5. You think I got some sales from this keyword? And thus my organic rank went up to 5 for 1,000 search volume keyword. You better believe it, right? Look at this keyword, coffin decor. I went from rank 20 to number 6. You think some of my sales increase probably came from that one? Absolutely. Here's another one here. Cool house decor. I didn't even realize that was an important keyword for me. I went from 23 to 5. So you guys see the value here? You can just take any 2 or 3 month period that you notice sales trajectory things and start comparing it. You can do this for seasonalities as well. Like maybe a couple months from now, you're looking back at Christmas time and you want to say, hey, from November to December, what gift related keywords did XYZ product jump up in keyword rank? Or what keywords was somebody in November not ranking at all? And then all of a sudden out of the blue in December, they were on page 1. I mean, you can get really granular with this, guys. This is just, I cannot stress how valuable this is. I would have paid $400 a month just for this, like 5-6 years ago, before this kind of technology existed. So super, super valuable, guys. Never say, I'm kind of doing whatever, everything I can be doing on my account. If you're not doing this, if you're not using this to kind of analyze what's going on with your competitors or what's going on with your products, which keywords are driving increases in sales, which keywords are driving decreases in sales, guys, you are leaving money on the table. And remember, no other tool can do this. All right, we're down to 2 more. You might be like, wait a minute, I thought that was number 2. Well, yeah, I'm about to get to the number 1 latest new feature. And then I'm going to give you a preview of something that hasn't even been announced yet. All right. So the number 1 new feature is about black box brand analytics. Now, why is Amazon brand analytics so valuable? It tells you who are the top 3 click products for a certain time period, be it a quarter, be it a month, be it a week. And then you can really see, hey, after the search of a keyword, regardless of where they're ranked, who is getting most of the clicks, right? And Amazon is literally telling you that information. And in addition of those clicks, what percentage of the conversions are they getting, right? So always in the past, what you could do, even in Helium 10 or in Seller Central, you just put in one ASIN, right? And then you pick a week and then, hey, let's just take a look at what keywords come up. Like right now, I just put in the most popular coffin letterboard on Amazon. And as of a couple weeks ago, they were one of the top 3 click products for 7 different keywords: Halloween decor, coffin letterboard, what else here? Halloween home decor, etc. And I can actually go see, hey, what percentage of the sales. But now, guys, or let me just say this, something that I would do is, especially if this is my competitor and I wasn't doing this weekly or anything, I would have to go week by week and run the same test, whether it's in Seller Central or Helium 10, say, all right, week 49, week 48, week 47, what keywords, and try and figure out what are the keywords that they were the top 3 click, because these 7 guys, I guarantee, are not the only keywords over the past like 3-4 months that they were one of the top 3 click. Now, guys, number one cool feature, I can select up to like 20 or even more potentially weeks. Like I'm going all the way back to December, November, October, September. I'm just like highlighting as many weeks as possible. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit apply filters, or it actually already came. And look at this. Out of all those weeks, there were 125 different keywords that this product was one of the top 3 clicked. And then I can go even further and say, hey, show me where they were actually getting actual sales. Sometimes you can be one of the top 3 clicked and get no sales. And then I can also see, well, some of these keywords, they were barely ever one of the top 3 clicked. Like look at this, goth decor home. They were only one of the top 3 clicked in week 34, but I would have never known about that keyword unless I went week by week until I got to week 34. But then I can look at this other keyword, Gothic house decor. Oh, wow. I see that like 7 weeks recently, or 5 weeks, whatever this is, they were one of the top 3 clicks. So guys, this is like a brand new way to do keyword research where you can, within seconds, find these very relevant keywords that you or your competitors are one of the top 3 click. And this is information directly from Amazon. This isn't like Helium 10 data here. This is something that would have taken an hour, maybe 30 minutes at least. And now it takes 30 seconds. Crazy, right? All right. Now we are up to the bonus feature. All right. That was the top 10 new features for the second half of 2024. One that wasn't even announced. I would have announced it last week, but I couldn't because, like I said, I was doing the news all about the new Amazon fee reimbursement issue. But now, what Elite members have access to right now, and only a few, because only a few have even seen it, it's eventually going to go to Diamond, is now you're going to have a translation. All right. So, for example, here I am in, I ran Cerebro, just regular Cerebro, on this coffin letterboard. Actually, I think this is eventually going to go to the even platinum plan, not just diamond, right? But maybe hablo español. Let's just say hablo español. I speak Spanish and no entiendo inglés. I don't understand English that well. All right. I don't understand these keywords maybe that Helium 10 came up with. This is Amazon USA, so all these keywords are in English. There is now an instant translate button. So I'll be like, hey, yo quiero traducir esas palabras en español. I want to translate these keywords into Spanish. And then instantly, once I hit Spanish, right here underneath the keyword or in my own column, depending on how I want it to show, every single keyword in Cerebro is going to have instant translation. This could go opposite. Maybe you're an American person or an English person, and you are analyzing the Amazon Japan marketplace. You have no idea how to read Japanese. This is going to be able to translate all of these keywords into the right language that you can understand what are the most common words that are showing up right here. Like I see letter and carta. I see tray, bandeja. I see box, caja. Now I know, hey, what are the common keywords that are showing up in the results in my language or in the opposite language? Maybe we're just like, hey, what is the literal translation for some of these keywords into what languages do we have? Spanish, English, German, Chinese, Japanese, French, and Italian. So This is a brand new feature that is coming, a little bonus feature. It didn't make my top 10 list because it just is getting released in the next couple of weeks, but something I'm super excited about because a lot of you sellers were like saying, hey, I'm copying these into Excel sheets and I'm running Google Translate, or I'm doing something inside of Google Sheets just to try and see what these keywords mean. Well, now there is a lot of hype and happiness amongst those 20 beta users that we have, because now they can instantly see what these keywords are in their own language. All right, guys, that was 11 total strategies, but as you can, like I said, there have been almost 100 new features that Helium 10 has released in the last year. This is just 10 out of the last 6 months that I thought were pretty cool. We released a plethora of other features. You guys need to be using these, all right? I bet you those of you who are using Helium 10, you already have Helium 10. I would venture to guess, you guys tell me if I'm right in the comments, that probably half of these you had no idea we even had, right? That's why I do these, guys, because we launch so much stuff. Sometimes if you don't keep track of our weekly buzz, you're gonna miss out on all this money that you could be getting by using these strategies. So make sure, get into your own accounts, guys, rewind this one by one, figure out which ones are going to benefit you, and get to using them. All right, guys. Thank you guys very much for amazing 2024. We had a great year of weekly buzz and a lot of good news, a lot of not so good news like last week, and a lot of new features, as you guys saw, a lot of training tips. Next year, 2025, we're going to keep bringing the news and the weekly buzz to you every week. That anything that's going on in the e-commerce world, we're expanding to other marketplaces. Like we're going to talk about Temu more. We're going to talk about TikTok Shop more. Who knows? Maybe we might even talk about eBay and whatever way that you can make money online, guys, and you want us to talk about, we're going to talk about it here on the Weekly Buzz and in our Serious Sellers podcast with our guests. I would like maybe some of you guys to be on the podcast who have never been on there. Not the Weekly Buzz, but our regular interview podcast. So if you've got a cool story to talk about, make sure to reach out to our Instagram, Serious Sellers Podcast. Follow me. That I kind of use that as my own Instagram too. So follow me on Serious Sellers Podcast on Instagram. Send me a message, and don't tell me your whole story, because you guys know how I roll. I like to listen to it live, same time that everybody else is. But send me a message and tell me a little bit about why you would like to share your story in the podcast. And who knows, maybe you'll be a guest in 2025. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Serious Sellers podcast in 2025. I'll see you guys next year. Bye-bye now.